Hey, and race fans, welcome to KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com. As we go live on Facebook, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're live at the second floor of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum at the library, as we call it, because that's exactly the corner we're in right now. You know, last week I was doing a little live test, if you will, a feed, and as I was walking outside, I saw one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. And believe me, I've been around this industry long enough that it caught my eye, and we'll talk about that here in the show. But what got into this whole thing and why we have this show here is we start over in our studios, and we planned on doing this opening night in April, but technically it's opening night tonight here at Knoxville Raceway. With all the COVID stuff, it's been postponed and pushed back, and the Outlaws ran in May, and we all talked about that. But beautiful night of racing, a lot of cars here, and you got to come out and see it. I'm telling you straight up, just, if you have some underlying conditions, stay home. Watch it on Dirt Vision. We'll talk about how you can do all that later on, but the biggest thing is we're back to racing here at Knoxville Raceway, and be courteous of everybody as far as what they want for the restrictions and everything. Everything's recommended as well, and you can go online at KnoxvilleRaceway.com and check that out. But in the meantime, let's talk about our guest. Brandon Worthington is here, and you're racing the Pro Series again. And first of all, thanks for taking out time. I know you guys got the car in the infield and ready to go, but thought I'd get you a little air conditioning before things happened.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
a hot one out there.
Yeah, not as bad as the last couple of days, though. But you guys are rolling in. We were talking about this before the show, and you are starting your fourth season at Knoxville.
Yeah.
Done 3 seasons in your belt. But you got 18 seasons of racing total underneath your belt you're starting off with. Now, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 23.
23. So you started racing right away, 5 years old, basically.
Yep. I was 4 turning 5
Right.
that year, so I turned 5.
Where'd you race at?
I started at Newton Kart Club.
Okay.
And then we raced putt-putts there, and then kind of moved up to Junior 1, and then that was kind of when we made our transition the next year into pavement racing also.
Okay.
So
who'd you race up against that might be some names down here you're racing with now? Anybody?
At Newton, not really anybody from Newton, but actually I raced with Eric Bridger for quite a few or several years at Jamaica on pavement. That's actually where we started. So it's kind of cool getting to kind of grow up and watch him come here, and same with me also. And so
you guys buddies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric's a cool kid.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So he's kind of a little better than I am as far as the knowledge is concerned, too. He's kind of a brainiac anyway. So
Yeah.
I mean, really intelligent. As far as your aspect of it, you guys talk about racing in Jamaica. That place is fast up there, too. It's pavement for one thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how'd that adjustment go between the dirt and the pavement and jumping back and forth?
I think I was young enough. There really wasn't a whole lot of adjusting I needed to do because I was only, like I said, I was only a year into the kart racing when we did make it. So I kind of was adjusting to both at the same time because we'd go to Jamaica in the morning because it was a day show, and then we'd go to Newton that night and go run all night, and then it was definitely a lot different as far as how to make your moves and stuff like that, and the learning process was a little different for the two. But I loved doing both. But
did one help the other one out? I mean, you watch Larson. I'll use him for prime example, or Christopher Bell, same way. Jump on a pavement car, go to a dirt track race that night. And I'm sorry, the style of racing is different. I mean, you're some control to out of control, if you will. Did that help you as far as anything? Did you learn something in Jamaica that day that would help you make things better that night as far as timing or anything?
I think the patience.
The
patience helped a lot on the pavement. You're running a draft. I mean, you're trying to wait and try to pick your moves a lot more precisely than you're on dirt. Dirt, I mean, you know when you're going to do something, but it's not as predictable as it is on pavement. You can kind of pick and choose what you're going to do. So taking the patience from the pavement and kind of inserting it into the dirt, I think that helped me a lot as far as growing on the dirt because I was able to be real close to people without getting nervous and stuff like that. So
you mentioned draft, and I'm just going to point out blank. You started racing between 4 and 5 years old. You go to Jamaica a year later, is that right? About 5 or 6 then?
Yeah.
When did you start realizing about draft? Because I'm sorry, most kids that age are thinking, keep the colors between the lines and I'll keep on moving through life. I mean, when did that start thinking, I've got to really hold my line, stay focused? Because that's a big deal. I mean, if you get out the draft, you're getting freight trained.
Oh, yeah. Probably I started racing mini cups when I was 9, a half-scale Winston Cup car on pavement, and I was still racing karts then. But that was when we were kind of utilizing the draft a little more. I was building my experience up, and we were utilizing it a little bit more. Clinging on to things more as far as information and stuff, and also having my engine builder at the track, Nick Perkins. He gave me a lot of advice as far as the draft and stuff, and so I was able to utilize that
I was gonna say, could you feel it? I mean, could you tell at 9 years old? Wow, I'm right here. I'm fast now. I'm tucked in right behind this guy. Could you tell right away?
Oh yeah. You could tell when you were out of the groove or you were off of somebody, you could see them stretch, and then it started to get a little more technical. We started to experiment with different bodies and stuff that had a little more aerodynamics. Well, then we were running into issues with the draft where it wasn't helping us in certain aspects. So there was a lot to adjust that way. But yeah, I would say probably 9 or 10 years old was when I was able to kind of cling onto that knowledge a little more. And
when you start talking about draft, because you'll hear this, and we'll talk about later in sprint car racing. Out down here, you get dirty air. Same thing in the mini cups then too. Can you get into dirty air out front by yourself where things are just not as friendly?
Oh yeah, definitely. You didn't draft as much with the mini cup car though.
Okay.
Those were they. I just think they were a little big.
Okay.
And so you weren't piling a lot of wind on somebody behind you and stuff like that. So all the moves that we made in that car, you came up on them so quick. You never really wanted to stay in behind them that much. You almost just wanted to take their line away and kind of make them uncomfortable where they're at to help yourself, I guess.
So it's better to move on that mini cup thing. It's better to move in, get in position ahead of him, than sit there and be the, as we say, running second. And he won't know where you're at until the last lap type thing. It's easier just to dodge it and go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Transformation on up then after doing some mini cup stuff like that. When did you guys start thinking, okay, it's almost sprint car time?
It was 2016. We decided to go to micro sprints, and we started in the Iowa Micro Sprint Series at Osceola and Brooklyn, and that was kind of, everybody in my family was like, we don't want you doing sprint cars, too dangerous, stuff like that. And then we get into the micro, and I think the reality started to get a little bigger as far as the sprint car racing.
Right.
So definitely helped as a driver in the sprint cars, getting to learn everything that car is going to do, because I was running a non-suspension go-kart for however long until then, and then the mini cup helped as far as how to adjust the suspension to do what you wanted, but definitely putting myself in a micro helped me learn how to do it in an open wheel car, and definitely utilizing it on dirt. So,
what did it feel like the first time you jumped in a car that had, actual suspension, working suspension, as I call it, because that is a huge difference.
I didn't lean my head as much.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You're like, but
oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's a crazy time. You mentioned Brooklyn. I got to tell a quick story. I've been around here all my life. I grew up in Knoxville. I've traveled everywhere. One place until last year I never been was Brooklyn, Iowa.
Yeah. And
I went up last year. My buddy of mine was racing micros. I went up there. And the first time I pulled in there, I'm like, why are we not having midget races here? This place is awesome. It'd be a perfect midget track too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That should be like a big thing. I mean, yeah, you ain't got 1,000, 2,000 grandstands or whatever it's holding, but I mean, still, I'm sitting there going, you know how many cars we can get in this field and have a huge midget type nationals right here in Iowa.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite tracks. I've always been a real big short track guy myself. I like being able to utilize my skills more than my motor as far as the driving aspect of it. So Brooklyn was a fun track to go to. It got a little scary because they have front wheel drives and stuff there, so it got real ruddy and rough and stuff. But yeah,
that's one thing I noticed. I went up there a couple of times. That first night I was up there, I was like, man, this thing's gonna be bouncing all over the place, and it did.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes you, don't hit that hole. Make sure you do this, or if you hit that hole, here's how you get through and everything else. How many years did you race micros?
It was 3 years. 3 years in the micro, and then we went to the sprint car at the fairgrounds, state fairgrounds there. And then
the state fairgrounds. Get me started on the state fairgrounds. I wonder how they're liking that now with the whole thing of concerts being shut down. They were having. I'm going to go there. They were having trouble booking concerts this year.
Yeah.
They were already still like 2 or 3 days empty before this whole thing kicked in. They started postponing everything, but why they got rid of the racetrack, man? I mean, I was just like, I went nuts. I really did. I mean, you raced there. One of the last ones to race there. How'd you feel about that?
I loved it. It was a great track to learn on, and it was nice having Matt Morrow there. Definitely, he was.
Matt
really
knows
good
that place.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. He gave great advice. We bought one of his cars when we got into it, so it was nice to be able to talk to the guy who was in the car for so long and get some information from him. But yeah, great track to learn on, I think. And I was kind of excited. They had talked about maybe putting in a 3/8 oval in there, and then it just kind of diffused from there.
Well, they were running like the opposite direction going on into turn 3 and 4. It was a great plan. I saw the drawings on it and everything because Tony was running the place then.
Yeah.
And then everything went kapoof. But I shouldn't do this because Murdoch's here tonight. I never thought Matt Morrow would be a teacher of sprint car racing because, in all honesty, when he was younger, nobody wanted to copy his style at all because his style was winner to wear it every lap. And the closer you got to the fence, the happier he was. I mean, so it's cool that he's kind of settled down. Although it was 2 years ago, he had that look in his eye one night, and sure enough, he went for it and he pulled it off. But he liked riding up there, right against the fence and the loose stuff and everything else.
Yeah.
You talk about your family and being not wanting to be in sprint car racing. They've been around. I mean, it isn't like they went, oh, what's this, a sprint car? Your family's been involved in sprint car racing for a lot of years.
Yeah, definitely. My grandfather's been in it for a long time. My dad, he was push trucking down here at 18. So
I think your dad was born down here. I'm not sure, but
a good chance. Yeah.
So
I think they've seen all the troubles and turmoils, and I think they thought of that before what I could do here. So. And of course, I mean, that's their job to do that. So, and I don't blame them. It's a dangerous sport, but gosh, I love it.
How'd you get along at State Fairgrounds when you ran up there first year?
We did pretty well, I think, for no experience in a sprint car at all. It's actually a funny story about Matt. First night out in that car, or second night out in that car, we were passing. It was Don Dawson, actually, that runs the Jocko's.
Yeah, Jocko Don. Yeah,
we were passing him on the outside. Matt passed him on the inside, and we met. And I actually got put into the wall by Matt up and over, and that was my first tumble in a sprint car.
Probably wasn't the first time he wrecked that car either. So
yeah.
I'm just saying there's a good high probability. So I talked to Don last night. Night before last, practice night out here, and he's telling me his daughter's thinking about racing now. So I think they're going to go down English Creek and start racing down there. It sounds like
nice.
He's going to get back into the wrenching on him at least. So
that was he's itching for it.
Yeah, that was let's see, State Fair was 305 Race Savers up there, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit of a change now. You guys come down here, you run 305 class, and then we come in with a pace motor as a rule.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that? I mean, to me, it seems like it's starting to come back around where it's getting. I don't want to say better racing because we've always had good racing in the 305 class, but with the pace performance motors, we got tighter racing, at least it seems like.
Yeah, I love it. It's even playing field. It's affordable. I know this is the best thing you can get around here as far as sprint car racing, and you're here at the Capitol. I mean, it's best case scenario for anybody trying to get into it. So.
How was your first night at Knoxville?
Well, my first night in Knoxville, actually, we had the Race Saver in.
Right.
I actually ran a couple nights.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah. I ran a couple nights down here with the Race Saver, and then when we got the pace car, I did all right. There was a couple nights that berm, man. I get into that berm, and
I remember.
It's troubling. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, I had a blast, learned a lot. Just that berm.
Are you an iRacing guy?
A little bit. I've been delving into it. I've only been doing it for about 5-6 months now, but. I've been getting into it a little bit more. And
I used to take the car out on the road and do trade shows for the racetrack, and we had iRacing in the car. And that's one thing I learned, and I'd forgotten about. We do have a berm, and in that iRacing perfectly, I mean, if you get on the berm, you're going for a ride. It's going to throw you around, and very few video games can give that effect to you. They can. Now, you can't feel it. You're not bouncing around like that, but yeah, they did a great job on that. So if anybody wants to know what it's like to be at Knoxville and not have to spend a fortune to do it, iRacing is the way to try things out.
100%. Yeah.
Does that help you training on that? Or I mean, I know my thing is you can't feel it. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, that's the only issue is you're not able to feel the car. But as far as the adjustments, I mean, it is to the bone exactly how you would adjust a sprint car as far as torsion bars, shocks, gearing, stuff like that. So I think as far as that goes, I think it helped me a little bit in this off season, kind of push my mindset into the direction of what I need to do to the car.
The technical side.
Do things.
Yep.
Yeah. Because even running a 305 on that game, we're pretty close to our lap times we run here in qualifying and heat races and stuff. So
nice. Let's talk about it a little bit because we're getting running out of time here. As I mentioned last week, we were doing a live test up here. I walk outside, and I saw your dad right away, and I saw the cars right away, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? Because that's not your number.
No.
For starters. I mean, it completely threw me off. But then there's a little history there, and as we talk about it, I got the camera. I took some pictures and stuff. I mean, you got a tribute car this year, and man, what a tribute car. It's cool.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm blessed to be able to have the opportunity to drive that car. I've always loved that car, and
we're talking the Trossel-Kinzer combination is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Bob's car.
Yeah.
So, but the 20 car, 1980.
Yep.
If I remember the story right, Kinzer destroyed his car, Bob's motor gone, blew up, whatever it did.
Yep.
And back then they let you combine them. Nowadays you're just tough luck.
Yeah.
So, but
it's hard to get someone to give up a little bit of equipment.
Tell me, I know the history about that, but tell our listeners how we ended up with that decision to do that car. I mean, you've got some connections there family-wise, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So Paul Wilson, he's a big sponsor of ours. He's actually been a sponsor of ours for about 14, 15 years now. And he is Bob Trossel's grandson. And this is us paying homage to him and how long he's been supporting us in our racing career. And this is just the biggest and best way that we could think of to thank him and, show him that we honored him and his grandfather and what they've done for the sport. And yeah,
for the young guns that don't pay attention or haven't caught up on racing, the car we're talking about, Steve Kinsler won his first nationals in 1980, and again, just kind of they threw it all together on a whim, and talk about two dominating teams going out there and winning the nationals. And the cool thing that I thought, besides you guys doing the tribute car, because to a T. I mean, other than the wing thing, they didn't have wings back in 1980, or didn't run in wings, I should say, back in 1980. But you guys got a nice blend with the wing going, the helmet right down to it.
Yeah.
And then last week when you guys did the pictures, you had the families there too. Dorothy came down. I mean, it was an aha moment for me. I mean, it's like, this is cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I started making phone calls, calling my friends. AJ came up from the bar. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah. It was definitely an awesome experience being able to be there right there with everybody and, talk about all the stuff. So
you went out on practice night Thursday night. How'd you get along?
Oh, we did pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
We'd thrown the car together for a photo shoot and didn't really adjust anything from there. So first round out, we felt a little scary, but we got everything dialed back in. Second round out, felt pretty good. Track was a little worse for wear, but we made the best of it, and we were second quick out in our class on that second round. So
you got some familiar names in there this year. We got some new ones coming in too.
Yeah,
some guys have moved up to 360. Some guys have given up or whatever you want to call it, or moved on. But is it tough getting? I don't want to say getting used to, but adjusting driver styles on people you've never seen race ever before. I mean, is it kind of like, okay, I've got to really watch this particular number because I've never seen him. I don't know, or her style, whatever it is, or are you just like, okay, it's just another race car out there. Let's see what happens.
It's a little bit of both. Definitely with the newer guys that I know that haven't really experienced anything like this, you do have to kind of pay a little bit of a precaution because it's not only you that has to be nervous. You got to take into consideration that they're also nervous.
Right.
So you don't want to do anything crazy to make them do anything crazy. So you do have to change a little bit, but you don't want to do it too much to the point where you're kind of hindering yourself. So.
Every goal is to win a championship in your series, and you guys ran, was it fifth last year in points? What'd you run points? Fourth. I'm just, it's old age, but I knew he was top five because I remember the speech. I mean, how cool is it? And this year it could change with the whole crazy COVID thing and banquet wise, but I mean, Knoxville Raceway goes out of their way and does a huge banquet. At the time we started doing it at Prairie Meadows, nobody else had done anything that big before in sprint car racing. Now everybody's starting to catch on. That's a big deal. How cool was it just to walk that stage and get up there?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome seeing everybody because a lot of the guys that are still running today are guys that I was watching in the push truck at 2-3 years old. So it's still pretty surreal seeing everything and even being here, even only being here for 4 years. I mean, it's still kind of clicks every once in a while. Like, holy cow, man, you're here. You're at the Capitol.
What's the next step up? We going 360? We going to jump up to 410? What's the plan on doing? Whoever's got the biggest checkbook?
Yeah, probably. I would love to run 410. Absolutely. It's going to take a little bit of talking into my grandparents probably. They get a little nervous with this yet and stuff. So actually this year I want to take that car and I want to run it at Oskaloosa non-wing.
You want to take the wing? There we go.
Yeah, at least once.
There we go.
Run it in its true form.
It's a true tribute car that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd love to have the experience. Growing up, I've always loved running a loose race car and stuff. So I think driving a car like that, not being so sucked down to the track, I almost wonder if I'm going to be a little more comfortable in it. So
very well could be. I've seen guys do that. They've been in wings for 5, 6, 10 years, and all of a sudden, you take a wing off, it's like they were born in that. Danny Young was one of the best ones. First time he took a wing off out here, it was like, holy cow, this kid missed his calling,
Yeah.
So a lot of guys were like that. Robert Bell does better without a wing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just some of them it's driving talent, driving ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. World of Outlaws are in town next weekend. Do we know is Kinzer coming out? Do we know this?
We're hoping so. I would
gonna say.
love to get a picture with him with the car, but yeah, we're not too sure if he is or
We'll
not.
keep an eye out. The cool thing about where Steve parks his motorhome is right across from my office. So when he pulls in, I'll know. I'll get a hold of you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely.
and they'll slap the car in the trailer, and we'll come down and do some more photo shoots or something like that.
Definitely. Yeah.
You guys got a job to do tonight. First of all, thanks for coming over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
thanks
good
for
luck
having me.
tonight. Good luck tonight,
Thank you.
because I mean it's going to be hydrate. That's what I've been doing all night.
Oh,
The
yeah.
water thing. Hydrate, and
Yep. Yeah, keg of
All right.
water in the trailer. So.
and again, no pressure whatsoever. Kinzer might be here next week, so don't tear it up.
Oh yeah, no.
It's been, that's no pressure.
We can probably find a seat for him. You can take a couple laps. Get a little...
Don't tell him that. He will. He will. All right, Brandon Worthington. You can catch him this year in the Bob Trossel Steve Kinzer tribute car, the number 20 Vice Grip car. Make sure you come out to Knoxville Raceway and check him out tonight, and check your schedule because we have some adjustments coming up. Pro Series will not be racing next weekend. You can go to KnoxvilleRaceway.com and catch up on all the stuff. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to finish up and send it over to our friends over at KNIA for their pre-show right after this.
Tired of doing this? Get a can of this and spend more time doing this. Seafoam helps engines start easier, run smoother, and last longer. Seafoam. Seafoam! Help your engine run smoother and last longer with Seafoam motor treatment. Just pour it in. Seafoam works to clean your fuel system, clean your oil system, and stabilizes fuel up to 2 years. Make the proven choice. Seafoam motor treatment. Available everywhere automotive products are sold.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
And welcome back to KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com. Had a great time talking to Brandon. I'll tell you what, great kid and a good family here in sprint car racing. And again, invite you guys to come out tonight. Again, practice social distancing. Wash your hands. Same thing we've been doing now for about 4 months now. It's not a big deal. Everybody's starting to get accustomed to it, get used to it. Don't make a big thing out of it, all right? We're going racing at Knoxville Raceway tonight. I've got to go and dress here in a little bit and get the suit on and go out and do my thing out there. But we certainly invite everybody to come out. The magic number, 3,250 on the front straightaway, and then they mentioned talking about we get above that number, we're going to open up the backstretch. So that'll be the first time, and other than some private parties, that we do that for something besides the Nationals. So we're taking care of things, taking care of business, and to remind everybody that after the races, when you do come out tonight, after the races, you are not allowed to go to the pits. The drivers and the crews have an hour to get out of here, according to the guidelines that were set up between Knoxville Raceway and the state of Iowa to follow the recommended CDC guidelines. We talked about drivers here tonight, and of course, Chris Krug and Tony Bachhoven, they're getting ready for the show tonight as well. And I've got text messages out to these guys. Looks to me like, according to Chris, Lee Groves is here in the 360 class. Sunshine's here. Tyler Courtney is here tonight. Of course, Hunter Schulenberg is in the 55 car. I did run into Brooke Tatnell. He's racing. I can't remember what number it was. Of course, he was here for the Outlaw show a month ago. I've lost track of my time, but it's a different car tonight. He's just kind of wheel hopping right now, so he's in town tonight. Of course, the familiar faces. Brian Brown's here going for his 50th win tonight. And those guys have been chasing that 50th now since midsummer last year, and just keeps just out of their reach. So they're hoping to celebrate tonight. T-Mac Terry McCarl in town tonight as well. Austin McCarl, of course, your 2018 track champion. He's got some really impressive racing going on here in the last few weeks. He picked up an all-star show up at Park Jefferson last weekend, put on a heck of a race. And speaking of all-stars, if you didn't catch that race last night, Blake about lost his voice one more time. It was unbelievable. But All-Stars putting on some fantastic shows tonight. World of Outlaws at Beaver Dam. I'm not sure what the weather situation is up there, but you can turn in Dirt Vision or check out their website. Keep an eye on things like that as well. As far as the weather here, we have sunshine. It is beautiful out. It's a little bit warm, so hydrate, but not as warm as it was the last couple of days. It's been just a miracle day. Got a little bit of breeze. I haven't had a chance to see what Duncans are doing. They're running around the track right now, and we're literally looking out the window here. And next weekend, I hope we're going to have a camera set up to go outside, or we're going to try to kind of show you what's going on with the track as well. But some big things going on here as we get ready. We do want to remind you also next weekend, I keep talking about this, and we broke the news on it, broke the story rather here earlier this week. The World of Outlaws is renting Knoxville Raceway one more time next weekend for a Friday and Saturday night show. Now, this was a scheduled show, so it's not like you're deviating from their schedule. However, the World of Outlaws are in charge of this show. And what that means is it's World of Outlaw 410 racing only. So no 360s, no Pro Series next week. And you can go to the World of Outlaws website and check things out like that. Or also keep an eye at KnoxvilleRaceway.com as we keep kind of continuing working our way to more racing, bigger crowds. The number next week for the front straightaway, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, but I think John told me it was 4,400 that they've made it eligible to have in the front straightaway in the grandstands before they have to open up the backstretch. So again, plenty of room with that going on, and I look for some big changes going to happen here. It's also, I believe, between now and the 15th that the state of Iowa is going to make a decision on the state fair, and I think whatever way the state fair leans might be the way that we're going to go. The good news is I did read a deal that Good Guys Show, the car show that has thousands and thousands of people up at State Fairgrounds in Des Moines, that thing is on, and near as I can tell, it's on as normal. They don't have any stipulations other than wash your hands, recommended masks, same thing we're doing. So that could be a really, really big factor on us moving forward and getting back to 100% racing with 100% grandstands full as we can get them and having a good old time. Again, we thank everybody for tuning in, KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com. I'll tell you what, this show, I've been excited about doing it live, and we're on Facebook tonight. We plan on being on Facebook Friday and Saturday night of next week as well. Again, all weather dependent, but the weather looks gorgeous so far. Next week's actually going to be a little bit cooler even. So we'll do a pre-race show for you each and every race night here at Knoxville Raceway when it comes to sprint car racing, and try to bring you the best things we can. And we get a little bit more into the interviews. You know, I don't have a lot of time to talk to the drivers over at the races on a Saturday night or whatever, because we have a timeline. We want to get everybody back to their homes safely, soundly, at a decent time. We realize families and their kids come out here, so we kind of speed things up a little bit. This show, I created it so I could give everybody a chance to get to know somebody from start to finish. And you can check out all of our shows at KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com, or you can go up on the YouTube channel and search Knoxville Dirt Digest as well. Catch up on us. We had some good stuff. As earlier this year, we had a chance to talk to Terry McCarl. We call it the Titanic, is what we called it, because it went over an hour and 20 minutes. And so you need some popcorn for that as well. But had a chance to talk to Brooke Tatton. We've talked to Bob Baker. We've had a lot of good interviews. Jamie Ball, Joey Beaver, of course. And yes, I called him Joey. That's been a joy to me all my life, so that's the way it's going to stick. But you can come out and see him race tonight, and a lot of other guys as well, as we get ready to kick off what is really weird opening night at Knoxville Raceway on June 6th. Never thought I'd see the day where I'd say that. But we're here, we're racing for points, and everything's going to happen just as planned. I want to reach out one time and thank Seafoam, old Kev up there, for helping us out tonight and get this show broadcast out. Also, special thanks to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum for letting us use their spot all year long. Make sure you come out and support the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum. They are open up as well. Just got open here a couple weeks ago, but they've got everything on the floor marked off the 6 feet. You know, try to stay with your group, things like that. Had to run down there a little bit and hydrate. But check out the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. We're up here on the second floor. That's where you'll see all the plaques of everybody that's been inducted so far. Also remind everybody that All-Star Weekend at the end of July is going to be the official National Sprint Car Hall of Fame weekend for the induction ceremony on that deal, as you can catch up to their website as well. All sorts of racing action coming here in the next couple of weeks. Then we have a week off the last weekend of July, and then we come back in with a 2-day show. We got the wow, the non-wing guys are already coming in. I can't believe that's less than a month away. So Corn Belt National starting, and then we start getting the month of money as well. So keep an eye on everything as we do this right now. I've got to go in the suit and start getting ready. We want to invite everybody to keep tuned in to tonight. You can watch the show live as it comes across on Dirt Vision. If you can't get to your computer and you're on a radio traveling down the road or whatever, you can go to live trackside from 5 until 6 with our folks at KNIA Radio. They've been around this game for a long time. And they got some good interviews lined up for this evening as well. So as soon as the show's over with, tune over to KNIA 1320 or 95.3 FM, and you can listen to them, or at KNIAKRLS.com. You can also check out racing coverage tonight all night long, as they'll go back on the air at 7 o'clock for Race Night Live. And just give you some names that they're talking to tonight. I know over there real quick. I just had this note in front of me here from Jamie, and looks like the guys are going to be talking to Kendra. They're going to be talking to John. So Kendra Jacob, John McCoy, Rico Abreu, Sunshine, Tyler Courtney, and Wall Raven's going to be on the show tonight as well. That can live trackside 5 to 6. That's going to wrap it up from this end. We'll see you next time on KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com.
Tired of doing this? Get a can of this and spend more time doing this. Seafoam helps engines start easier, run smoother, and last longer. Seafoam. Seafoam! Help your engine run smoother and last longer with Seafoam motor treatment. Just pour it in. Seafoam works to clean your fuel system, clean your oil system, and stabilizes fuel up to 2 years. Make the proven choice. Seafoam motor treatment. Available everywhere automotive products are sold.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.